In this section, we are going to create a simple HTML structure so that we can understand about selectors in DOM. We have get element by ID, get elements by class name. To understand those selectors, first we have to work inside our HTML. Then later on, one by one, we are going to understand all the selectors. So inside DOM, our entire HTML code will be displayed and DOM will be considered as a tree. And if we compare DOM as a tree, then tree will be having lots of leaves and that leaves will be treated as nodes inside the DOM. Nodes you do not have to worry, that is a complete different topic. And in part 4 section, we will understand about nodes. Tree will be considered as DOM and in that we are having nodes. The base of a tree will be treated as a document node and in that document node we are having two main nodes, that is HTML node and body node, and inside that we are having all the tags that will also be treated as nodes. First let us understand HTML element. Now here I'm just going to write one paragraph, and for this paragraph I have given the ID as para. Inside this I am just giving the text. I will save this and also I'm just going to open this with live server. I have opened using live server and this is my result. Now inside this, if you see, my paragraph is called as HTML tag. This is called as HTML tag and this ID is called as attribute. This para is called as attribute value. And finally, we have this I am DOM. This is called as text. And this entire thing, it will be treated as element. So inside this paragraph, we are having four things. This is called as opening tag and this is called as closing tag and this is called as ID attribute. This is the ID attribute value and this is our text. So this entire thing will be combined and it will be treated as an element. So this is very important to understand what is element inside HTML. These are the tags. This entire thing is an element. Now we are going to build our simple HTML page so that we can work with selectors. I will start with the basic template. I will change the title, Accessing DOM. Let me just write here selectors. Now here the title is changed. Inside body we will write H1 and for this H1 we will give the ID as heading. And here let me just write hello, I am DOM. I will save this. Now this is my heading. Below this I'm just going to create paragraph. Let me just write some text. So inside body we have created one H1 and also we have created our paragraph element. This will be treated as H1 element and this will be treated as paragraph element. Now below this, let me just write one comment. I will write here get element by ID. I will write H3 and inside this I'm just going to write we will use attribute, that is ID. Okay, using this ID we are going to use the selector. Now below this I'm just going to create one container. Inside this container we are just going to write our selector name. I will write here div and for this div I will just write here accessing elements. Whatever you want you can give. This is only the basic styling. And here let me just give here bold text and inside this I'm just going to give get element by ID. And also for this div I will just give the ID. Let me just write here text. Save this. This is my h3, and inside this I am having this div where I have this accessing element, and also the text is in bold. So in the same way, I will copy this, and below this I am going to paste, and here we will write get elements by class name, and for class we will be using dot operator. Instead of id, I am just going to give here class accessing element using get elements by class name. When we write JavaScript code, we will make this as capital get elements by class name. If you notice here, for id we have get element, but for class name we will have get elements by class name. So in the same way, I'm just going to create another div. I will copy, and below this I'm going to paste. Class will be same. I'm just going to write the same text. I will save. This is using this get elements by class name. We are having two text, and also I'm just going to paste one more text. Totally we are having three text, but for all I have given the same class name, that is text. For id also I have given the same value, that is text, but inside our HTML code we can have only one id attribute with the same value, but class name we can have multiple class name with same value. So this is our get elements by class name. Next we will see about tag name. I will be copying this, and below this I'm just going to paste get elements by tag name. And for tag name, let me just write here tag name. We are not going to use any operator because tags are this one. What I told, this h3 is a opening tag and this h3 is a closing tag. So these are called as tags. So for this, we are just going to access. So directly we are just writing here tag name. We do not have any operator for this. And here let me write get elements by tag name. This one. And in the same way, I'm just going to copy this div. Below this, I'm going to paste. And for this, we don't need any ID. I will remove. And also, I will remove this. Similarly, here we have div. So, using div, we can access this. Below this div, let me just create one paragraph. And here also, it is changed paragraph. I will save this. This will be my result. Then finally, we are going to work with our fourth one, fourth selector. I will be pasting it here. Now this will be query selector for ID, ID query, and here let me just remove. I will just write here query selector. Here also I'm just going to write query selector. As we are using for ID, we don't want this one. Let me remove. And for this div, I will just give the ID. ID, let me just write here query. Okay, whatever you want, you can give. I'm just writing here query. Then finally, we are going to see the last selector, that is query all selector. By the name itself, we can understand query all means we can apply for class names. So here I will write class, and inside this I'm just going to change it to class. Query all. Okay, whatever class name you can give directly query, and also you can give query. Let me give query. I will copy the same thing. Below I will be pasting, and here I'm just changing it to query all selector. Okay, it should be query selector all. It is not query all selector. Let me just remove this. Here I will write, and also I'm just going to paste it here. This is our query selector all. Basically, we are going to see 5 selectors: get element by ID, get elements by class name, get elements by tag name, query selector, and query selector all. All these 5 selectors, one by one, we are going to understand deeply about those. So first, let us just give some stylings. And also in our previous sessions, we have understood DOM is not complete HTML. because whatever errors we have inside HTML, by itself, DOM will be correcting those errors. So suppose if I just copy this, let me just do Control Z. Suppose if I just copy this and if I paste below body, I will save this. I will open inspect. Now inside this inspect, if you see below body, I won't be having any elements, but I am having this comment, but these elements are pasted above the body. You can see I have here query selector all, and also if I open here, I will be having query selector all. So this is how DOM will be correcting our code. I will remove this. Now let's give some stylings. I will be adding here style tag. And for our body, let me just give some background color. Background color, I will just give here yellow and I will just change the color. Let me just give this. After this, I just want to give the maximum width. Maximum width, I will just give around 800 pixel. Save. Now this is the background color and maximum width is 800 pixel. For this, I will be giving border. Border of 2 pixel solid black. Save. Now this is the border, and also I'm just going to give some padding. Padding I will give 10 pixel, and margin. Margin I will give 10 pixel from top and bottom. Left and right I will give auto because I want it to come in the middle. I will save this. In this small window, it is not visible that this content is in middle. But when I maximize this, you can see the box has come in the middle. So I have just given margin top and bottom 10 pixel and left and right auto, so that whatever width is remaining, it will be dividing equally. And also let me just give a text align to be center. I want all my text to come in the middle. Now we have used here H1, we have used paragraph, we have used H3, diff, and yes, that's it. So fine, I will just write here H1, paragraph, diff, and H3. For all these four things, I'm just going to give border. Border, border around 1 pixel, solid, solid black. Save this. For all this, now I am having the border. Now for better understanding, let me just give here padding. Padding of 10 pixel for all these things. Save. Now this will be my result. Now using this HTML, we are going to work with these selectors. One by one, we will be picking this selector and we are going to access the elements based on this selector and we will be getting the result.